Once upon a time, there were 5 Chinese brothers, and they all looked exactly alike.
We're the 5 Chinese brothers, and we look exactly alike.
They lived with their mother in a little house not far from the sea.
I'm the first Chinese brother, and I can swallow the sea.
I'm the second Chinese brother, and I have an iron neck.
I'm the third Chinese brother, and I can stretch and stretch my legs.
I'm the 4th Chinese brother, and I cannot be burnt.
I'm the 5th Chinese brother, and I can hold my breath forever.
On the morning of every morning, the first Chinese brother would go fishing, and whenever the weather, he would come back to the village with beautiful and rare fish, which he had caught and could sell at the market for a very good price. One day, as he was leaving the marketplace, a little girl stopped him and asked him if he could go fishing with him. "Can I please go fishing with you?"
No, it cannot be done.
"Please, please, please."
Under one condition, and that is you shall obey me promptly.
"Yes, yes." Early the next morning, the first Chinese brother and the little girl went down to the beach.
Remember, you must obey me promptly. When I make a sign for you to come back, you must come at once.
"Yes, yes." And the first Chinese brother swallowed the sea, and all the fish looked high and dry at the bottom of the sea, and all the treasures of the sea lay uncovered. The little girl was delighted. She ran here and there, studied with pockets and extraordinary shells and fantastic algae. Near the shore, the first Chinese brother gathered some fish while he kept holding the sea in his mouth. Presently he grew tired, and it was very hard to hold the sea, so he made a sign with his hand for the little girl to come back. The little girl saw him but paid no attention. The first Chinese brother made great movements with his arm, and that meant come back. But did the little girl care? Not a bit, and she ran further away. Then the first Chinese brother felt the sea swelling inside him, and he made desperate gestures to call the little girl back. But the little girl made faces at him and fled as fast as she could. The first Chinese brother held the sea until he thought he was going to burst. All of a sudden, the sea forced its way out of his mouth, went back to his bed, and the little girl disappeared. When the first Chinese brother returned to the village alone, "Where's my daughter?"
I was holding the sea in my mouth, and she didn't listen to me, and she didn't listen to me.
"She would never not obey me."
You didn't obey me. I am sorry your daughter drowned.
He was arrested, put in prison, tried and condemned to have his head cut off. On the morning of the execution, he said to the judge,
Your Honor, will you allow me to go and bid my mother goodbye?
"It is only fair!" So the first Chinese brother went home, and the second Chinese brother came back in his place. All the people were assembled on the village square to witness the execution. The executioner took his sword and struck a mighty blow. But the second Chinese brother just got up and smiled. He was the one with the iron neck, and they simply could not cut off his head. Everybody was angry, and they decided that he should be drowned.
He shall be drowned! He shall be drowned! He shall be drowned!
On the morning of the execution, the second Chinese brother said to the judge,
Your Honor, will you allow me to go bid my mother goodbye?
"It is only fair!" So the second Chinese brother went home, and the third Chinese brother came back in his place. He was pushed on a boat which made for the open sea. When they were far out on the ocean, the third Chinese brother was thrown overboard, where he began to stretch and stretch his face way down to the bottom of the sea. His smiling face was bobbing up and down on the crest of the waves. He simply could not be drowned. Everybody was very angry, and they all decided that he should be burned.
He shall be burned! He shall be burned! He shall be burned!
On the morning of the execution, the third Chinese brother said to the judge,
Your Honor, will you allow me to go and bid my mother goodbye?
It is only fair!
So the third Chinese brother went home, and the fourth Chinese brother came back in his place. He was tied up to his stake,
fire was set to it, and all the people stood around watching it. In the midst of the flames, they heard him say,
This is quite pleasant.
"Bring some
More wood! Bring some more wood! Bring some more wood!
The fire roared higher,
Now it is quite comfortable.
for he was the one who could not be burned. Everybody was getting more and more angry every minute, and they decided to smother him.
He shall be smothered! He shall be smothered! He shall be smothered!
On the morning of the execution, the 4 Chinese brothers said to the judge,
Your Honor, will you allow me to go and bid my mother goodbye?
It is only fair!
So the 4th Chinese brother went home, and the 5th Chinese brother came back to his place. A large brick oven had been built on the village square, and had been all stuffed with whipped cream. The 5th Chinese brother was shoveled into the oven, right in the middle of the cream. The door shut tight, and everybody sat around and waited. They were not going to be tricked again, so they stayed there all night and even a little after dawn just to make sure.
Then they opened the door and pulled him out, and he shook himself and said,
My, that was a good sleep.
Everybody stared open-mouthed and round-eyed, but the judge stepped forward and said,
We have tried everything to get rid of you in every possible way, and somehow it cannot be done. It must be that you are innocent. Innocent! 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 Yes!
So they let him go, and he went home. And the 5 Chinese brothers and their mother all lived together happily for many years.